we're back for the second hour of our show. And before we ended it, we were talking about the bad situation everybody is in right now. There's businesses that are presenting these ways of food. It's not just offering a natural product or natural food. It's not just that. Or companies that are claiming that some food in nature actually have healing power, which is only common sense to understand that, because in the old days people didn't have anything else except what nature offered, and they still made it through and healed themselves with something. So I think that sometimes they did a better job than we are doing now with all the drugs we have. So that is all the common sense that it is true. It's just that it is damaging the drug companies, and that is proof of the racketeering going on between the drug company, FDA, and the AMA. It's no doubt about it. It's so obvious as daylight. It's there in front of our eyes. So how come we are not the majority, at least of the population, deciding not to do anything about it, turn their head in the other direction and accept whatever is available? And every time somebody is diagnosed with cancer through their method of diagnostic, which is very questionable, every time that happens, the person agrees to go for standard treatment, which is a cut, I call it mainly poison and burn, and they agree to that. Every time they submit to that, they are allowing the abuses to continue. And when there are people that are opposing that and are finding alternative ways, and there are people offering alternative ways, what happens is that FDA goes there and terrorizes them. This cannot be permitted in a free society. We need to do something. This is supposed to be a free society. There are many instances in which it says without that, but the Constitution says that we are free to choose, following the law. And the law does not mean being pushed around by a Gestapo-like system. The law means that this is the Constitution, these are our rights, and they outline what we can and cannot do. Once that has been established, that's it. Now, states have other laws, and as long as you're following the laws of your state, I don't see how the federal government can get in and
well, Dr. Carpenter, the Constitution clearly designates that the states have the rights, not the federal government. Okay,
right.
The federal government, the FDA, as a function of the federal government, has absolutely no rights, no jurisdiction over people living in a state practicing under the laws of that state. Nothing, okay? And it's not as if a person like you is going around with a campaign to destroy the standard treatment. No, you're simply educating people about the truth from 30 years of your own research and development. You offer a treatment that works, and you are offering it. Now we have interference. Okay, we have some kind of interference here, but let me just finish my statement here, that you are offering an alternative to the cut, slash, and burn and maim things that they do in the standard treatment, and you have every right to practice that, and specifically in the state of Oklahoma, where there is the Health Care Freedom Act.
I know, but apparently, and that will follow, even though I don't agree with what they offer, but they're free to do it. The Camelot is free to offer that, and people are free to go there if they believe that will help them. Okay?
That's free choice, Dr. Carpenter. That's what I keep stressing, because from my perspective here, you know, I'm not a scientist, I'm not any kind of medical doctor, but I have done the research, and my position comes from the position of defending liberty, and that includes the rights of the states to make their own laws and the right of the people to have free choice, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, for heaven's sake.
I know. And so why, people should ask, why is the media supporting what FDA is doing by presenting. And by the way, I like to point out something. The media does not discuss anything about our raid until I made it public. But they should discuss the one of the Camelot. The raid to my company and my place was kept hush. I am the one who made and presented it. Okay? And then they said something typical, noxious and insulting thing. But the point is, the Camelot, they immediately discussed, it's still the same attitude, and FDA feels cocky because they were able to arrest somebody under what
under some bogus charge, no doubt, Dr. Carpenter.
Yeah, they're pretty bogus because in Oklahoma you can carry weapons and you can bring them to work.
Just like in Maine, in the state that I live.
Oh, but you were manufacturing drugs in a retail store.
It's an open carry state. Okay? It's open carry. I could walk down the street if I so chose and carry a weapon on my hip. Okay? It's an open carry state. Don't say you're not going to get any flack from the police, because you will. But still, the law maintains. The law maintains, just like in Oklahoma. If it's an open carry state, then any person, you don't need a permit. If you have an open gun on your hip, hey,
actually, you can have a concealed gun too in Oklahoma. You can have a concealed gun.
That's right. You can have that here too. But in other words, if it's open carry, it means that you don't need any kind of license. You don't need permission. All you have to do is strap the gun to your hip, and you can walk anywhere, unless a prohibited area for whatever reason. It's open carry, okay? So that's the deal.
So why arrest him if he had a gun? See, why arrest him? That's just ridiculous.
But we know, Dr. Carpenter, we know from so many cases, and including what they did to you, that they will use any excuse, any kind of sting operation, any kind of loophole that they can sell. They can sell it.
Yeah, but that is not a loophole, though, because the state allowed the carrying of the guns. So what loophole is that? In my case, they could say, "Oh, you're using a drug," which it isn't. But anyway, so I don't see how they could justify arresting this guy in Oklahoma. Maybe in other states when you cannot carry guns is one thing. Not only that, in Oklahoma there is Make My Day law.
And it might not have even been his. It might have been a throwdown. You never know. You never know. I mean, I took...
like the drugs, they say, oh, this person is carrying drugs. Actually, they took it out of their pocket.
Well, I was going to say, when I went to University of Arkansas in the 80s, I'm going to date myself here, at the time, the political science and criminal justice departments were one. So basically, I could take criminal justice courses and get political science credit for them. So I took a few criminal justice courses. I took criminal evidence. I took, these undergrad courses, of course, but I took comparative criminal justice. I took several, and one thing that came up in a few different criminal justice courses of mine that were taught by actual criminal justice professors. That's what they did. They studied, or they taught at the police academy and other things outside of the University of Arkansas. But the idea of what is a throwdown, it's a standard practice. Basically, all police vehicles have a few unregistered weapons in the backs of them, in the trunks usually, that are kept on hand just for convenience sake. Say they do something they shouldn't have done, shoot somebody, kill somebody, they plant that gun there, unregistered,
right.
So that they can. Right. So
well, that's illegal. So how come
but
it's allowed?
standard? It's standard procedure.
Standard procedure. It is.
And it was in the 80s. You don't think it still is? I mean.
Oh, it is. But also, Randy, it's interesting that you'd mentioned the criminal justice and political science courses, because traditionally both of those areas are pre-law. A lot of people that go into law school either go for political science or criminal justice. All right. So but what you said is absolutely true. There is no honor there is no honor here. Okay, and they will do anything that they can get away with. And Dr. Carpenter mentioned the Make My Day law. Well, they used to have the Make My Day law in Colorado, too. Well, I don't think they have it anymore. And for those who don't know what the Make My Day law is, Make My Day. I love it. Somebody breaks into your home,
go ahead,
invades your private property, and like home breaking and entering. They come in there, invading your trespassing, invading your property. You shoot that bastard dead. Make my day. Okay? Make my day. You are absolutely justified under the law in defending your life, the lives of your family, and your property. It doesn't even have to be just defending your property. Make my day.
Okay. Oklahoma has extended that law. And you can do that at work too. If somebody's at work threatening you and threatening your life, and you are in danger, you can shoot him, and it still applies. It doesn't have to be inside your house. It can
and that's exactly the way it should be, though, Dr. Carpenter. You see, we have a God-given right to defend ourselves. We certainly have a constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms, and nobody, I don't care if it's the FDA, the FBI, nobody has the right to violate and transgress against given rights. So I suspect foul play with this person that was arrested because he had a gun.
You know, he's arrested because he had a gun in Oklahoma, please.
Yeah, it's absurd.
That's ridiculous, okay? Maybe in New York State, but not in Oklahoma. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, you see, the FDA is violating all the laws that involve a state. They couldn't get any other reason to arrest him, so what they do, because to be sensational and what they did, they had to have an arrest. That's why they were upset.
Well, exactly, Dr. Carpenter, but you have to remember that these people, I don't care what kind of feds that we're dealing with here, they consider themselves above the law. And because of the corrupt so-called criminal justice system and the judiciary that's corrupt and the judges, they get away with it.
Yeah. Remember the Steven Seagal movie Above the Law?
Yeah, Above the Law. That's right.
But in that particular case, the good guy won. But
yeah.
No, that happened.
But that's the movie, Dr. Carpenter, and it's just so sad because, you know, when I think of the righteous use of law, okay, the righteous use of law, if we designed the systems to work for the righteous use of law, like FBI, then these guys would be heroes. And in that case, I would be proud. I personally would be proud to be among those people that were enforcing the law and taking down the bad guys. But that's not who they are anymore. No matter how they were first formed, they're all corrupt.
Yeah. I just hope that at one time they were honest. I don't know. I hope that at one time they were.
I believe that the standards by which they were created, I believe that they probably were in the beginning. Okay? Yeah. They're not anymore. There's just no doubt. I don't know of any law enforcement agency across the board that I could say is honest and decent and is protecting the peace officers, you know, not only enforcing the law, but
keeping
the peace.
And they're not keeping the peace. It's just, and that's why I introduced the discussion of the Boston Marathon, because the whole thing and that whole situation is so suspicious that I just don't see. I think it's a trumped-up story to make the police look good and also give the people the statement that, see, martial law at times is good for you. Yeah. See, I think that's what it's leading to, because they are afraid of what could happen, and then they can use the martial law, and people will say, oh yeah, that is protecting us. No, it's not. It's not protecting you at all.
No, It's not protecting you at all. The only thing it's doing is making you in the victimhood class of people. So you can't protect yourself, just like taking the guns. What they're doing is they're saying you will now be a victim. You are responsible for your own self-defense, not the government.
And if you have your gun taken away, how the heck are you going to defend yourself? Yeah, you know, I don't know why no one is questioning arresting this person because of the gun. How can
now,
they...
listen, did you hear that?
I heard it loud and clear.
That's the sound I'm talking about, or one of them. Was that at your place, Dr. C?
Okay,
No, it wasn't there.
I have a laptop and sometimes it does that.
Oh.
Does it sound like some wheel turning, like a CD or something?
Or, well, something.
Yeah, something turning. That could be because the laptop does that, okay?
Maybe mining dilithium crystals or something. I don't know.
No, this is not Superman. But anyway, I'm saying that could be it, the one you hear, okay? Because on occasion the laptop does that. That's the way it operates. So you
Well, I
can,
hear other noises in the background now, too.
yeah, well, I don't know, but
There it is again.
I heard
There
it.
it is again.
yeah, I can hear something on the background, but I thought that was,
Spooky, spooky.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they could intervene in that way. But anyway, the one you heard before is still going on?
Static.
Yeah, I heard that loud and clear.
I don't hear the static. I don't know what the heck is going on. Did you hear the same things when we did that last recording?
Every once in a while, the thing that sounds like some kind of heavy equipment in the distance. Hydraulics.
Yeah, not as pronounced, though, as now.
Well, I'm using a different system, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know, okay? And as I said, it's out there in the outer space, so who knows?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I thought they might be mining dilithium crystals. Because I know the Enterprise warp generators use dilithium crystals.
Oh, okay. I know. We're just kidding. Yeah. I guess if I transmit it from the Enterprise, there would be some kind of notice, right? I'm just transmitting from another planet. So I guess that's interesting to say.
Hey, Captain, I can't keep it together.
But I mean, I don't know about the Camelot thing. I just don't know. And they close them down so they cannot make any money. Of course, they've been around for a long time, so I'm sure they have a lot more money than I did. I didn't have any. It's going week by week. But I don't know. It's just unbelievable. This is allowed in the United States. And it was said we need to do something. Something needs to be done to put an end to these abuses because they affect everybody. They're not just affecting the business, they're affecting everybody. And did you hear the statements of people that were patient there or a relative of patient that they were going back there to pick up their supply? They terrified them. They were killing people. I mean, if that is not Gestapo, I don't know what that is.
It comes down, again, to intimidation tactics, Dr. Carpenter. And unfortunately, most people are conditioned in this society to comply with any form of perceived authority. Here we are with the FDA, like, freeze, stop right there, and they'll drop everything, and they won't make a complaint, they won't speak up. That's what the intimidation tactics are. And unfortunately, because those tactics work on the majority of citizens, they are effective. It takes people to say, wait a minute, hold it right there, you don't have that right, and to keep screaming that you have no business. These people are becoming ever more aggressive in their attacks on all kinds of people.
Because they got away with it a few times, and one major one, and was our case, they had nothing at all. Everything was created and front up. Not only that, we were affected, and they created all these things. They misused pictures after stealing my records. They misused everything to present a case that didn't exist. They're all phony.
Well, they did, Dr. Carpenter, and it's a combination of fraud and contrivance contriving false ideas and false information, fraud, and they are violating the law, not you.
Yeah, they're guilty of fraud big time, misrepresenting the fact, lying about what happened, abusing people's rights, abusing business rights, and stealing property under the name of the government. And I don't know what they stole, Camelot, but I guarantee you they stole their supply of oil and the compound.
Well, I'm almost certain they must have done that, Dr. Carpenter.
Yeah.
Because if the FBI agent, as per the testimony of that one man, slammed his hand down on the package and said, "You're not going anywhere with this, okay?
You have no right to have it." Yeah.
Everything that's there.
Yeah. And you know how many years they've been operating? Oh, gosh, I don't know, but they've been there for a long, long time. Long.
Like decades?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if it's at least 20 years. I don't know, probably more. I don't know. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, never mind the fact that it doesn't work. They do it in Mexico too. But I'm just saying, how can you say Laetrile is a drug not approved for this use? Well, first of all, Laetrile is in nature. And not only that, they sell it, but the patients take it themselves. So they're free to do that.
Well, that's right. It's not being administered.
In some cases, the patient that stay there, they do inject it, but in other cases, they just take it home and use it at home. So you can, and the guy that obviously came in take it, and he was going to take it to use it for his wife, and she was going to use it personally. They can know right.
No, they don't, Dr. Carpenter, but again, we have to keep bringing it up. How many times I have to repeat it and be redundant, I don't care.
And if anybody's listening, just Google Camelot Cancer Care, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, but it is, and again, to the fact under the law, the Health Care Freedom Act in Oklahoma.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
Okay, we are back from the commercial break, and this is the last segment of the show, the last segment of the second hour, and what we want to do is wrap up what has been discussed and what we need to do to put an end to these abuses, because this is not something that we as a country can allow to continue. It cannot be allowed. Every day there is somebody else that gets threatened with jail sentence. There is somebody else whose business gets ruined because they're offering something different. And I am telling you, this is not necessarily applied to cancer. I have a case that I recently have become aware, and this is somebody that is really not even under the regular mainstream or even alternative. It's just somebody totally disconnected with the average medical field. And he's somebody that just so happened in his life to have discovered a way to resolve and save the life of burn victims without the standard torture that these people have to go through to just be maybe possibly safe. And it's disgusting how simple the solution is, and how this person has been tormented just like we have been tormented and had to just go on the ground. And it's disgusting. Why? When he can save lives without suffering. Because people think that when you have a burn, you go to a burn center and they are experts and they treat you well and you're going to be fine. No, let me tell you, that is torture. And it's competent to jack up the price as much as they can. It doesn't matter how much suffering and how much the patient is in danger. And you can die from excessive pain. And the pain is such that even morphine is not enough. We can kill you with morphine anyway. And somebody has a solution that eliminates the suffering and works a lot faster. It doesn't require the horrible torture of skin transplant. No, that cannot be allowed. He has to be pushed out of society. He has to be put out of work with the excuse, oh, what he does is not sterile enough. Oh, let me tell you something about sterile, okay? That we have been attacked too. Oh, it's not sterile enough. Okay, Andy Anderson that uses,
MD Anderson, right.
Yes, you have to have an autoclave to be safe. Really, MD Anderson has autoclaves everywhere, okay? And one of my former patients, who eventually got killed by MD Anderson, he went there for a biopsy, and they gave him Morganella, which is an outrageous type of bacteria. It's an infection you never can get rid of. It can go dormant in your body, but you still have it. And you never get rid of it, and it's very hard to control. He got it at grade MD Anderson with all the autoclave they have, and they supposedly use. So how come he got an infection with the biopsy? Okay? And they criticize the small operator. Oh, you don't have an autoclave. An autoclave is needed if you are disinfecting equipment because of the weird shape, and you can put it in an autoclave. But otherwise, you can disinfect things in the old-fashioned way. Actually, that's the way it came. Okay? Boil it for 20 minutes. Okay? So that's ridiculous. And then use the proper sterile method, and do not reuse the equipment like they do at MD Anderson, and then you're going to be okay. No, they attack people with this stupid excuse, oh, you're not using an autoclave, so therefore you're not sterile, and you're hurting people. And I read it last time, the show that didn't air because of the hacking. I was saying how they're closing down this compounding pharmacy because what they do could possibly, maybe create a problem. It's not that it's creating a problem. It's not like it's killing people like pharmaceutical companies are doing. No, FDA decided that it's not sanitary enough what they do, and it could create a problem. Has it created yet? No, but they said it could.
Well, Dr. Carpenter, it's hypothetical, okay? Sure. Not real. It's not rational. It's not
happening.
It's not happening. It's a hypothetical. So it could be happening, but it's not happening.
Yeah, it will close you down. But the drugs that actually kill people by the hundreds of thousands, that is happening. Well,
no, that's happening. That's right.
Well, we're gonna say put a warning label because it could help a few people. It could have. Now it's reversed. It could help a few people.
It could help them live about 2 more days.
Right. And extending their life, or just short. Yeah. I mean,
but let's get back to the. I think it's the Hippocratic Oath, if I'm not mistaken. It's first, do no harm. Okay, and none of these mainstream medical methodologies are following first, do no harm. They do tremendous harm.
Actually, their excuse is, that's an old idea, but now we are modern, we are more advanced, so the patient...
so we can do harm anytime we please with impunity.
Right, and the patient know they're taking a chance. Well, when they're not given any choice, what kind of knowing they're taking a chance is that? They're not allowed to have a choice. So, see how the whole thing is a phony, dishonest behavior. But what I am saying is we are allowing it to happen because of the media, because of the white coat syndrome. The God principle. Oh, doctors are God, and I am intimidated by the white coat. And no one else can use a white coat. An alternative practitioner cannot use a white coat, in their opinion.
Well, you know what, Dr. Carpenter, before you were talking about, Randy was talking about having people that are listening to this broadcast contact the medical conspiracy, people that want to join in and actually do something. And can you give us how to get there, Randy?
Well, all anybody would have to do is send an email to tell us, run together, TELLUS, at medicalconspiracy.com. That's the easiest way. Or they can look us up on Facebook. Right, we've got a Facebook page for the radio show, and medicalconspiracy.com is the website. And even though there really is no LaysMed Inc. anymore, there's LaysMedInc.com. We're going to keep that website up to expose all of this.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of information there.
And there are a lot of information, patient testimonial, which they hate, and they've been trying to work on taking them down, and they can't find an excuse for it, other than destroying the business. But what I am saying, the Camelot, contact us, the Camelot, this compounding pharmacy, the Manuka Honey Company, the Diamond Food, we all need to get together, and the farmers that have been attacked for selling raw milk or for selling cherries and claiming that they're antioxidant, like it's not a case. Just let's all get together. Contact us. We need to do something. Let's all get together and sue the government.
Well, because it's the same issue, Dr. Carpenter. They are violating not only the rights of the practitioners and the growers of fruits and vegetables or whoever it may be. They're violating those people's rights. They're also violating everybody's rights, including you and me and everybody listening to this program, because they're trying to take away our freedom of choice about our own health care. If I want to go out and buy a cherry, okay, because it has antioxidant properties, that's my right. If I want to go to an alternative clinic for any kind of treatment, that is my right. And they are shutting down people with these raids, these fraudulent raids, and they are violating the law, especially again in the states where there's Health Care Freedom Act, like Oklahoma and some others, I understand.
Arizona,
and do not have jurisdiction to go in there and do this. They are violating the law. They are the criminals.
They are criminals. Stop. And I don't care that they're going to flash a badge. They are government and they think they can push people around. No.
It's the same idea. It's exactly the same idea as the white-coated physicians. They are gods. People think that government agents are gods, that we must bow down to whatever they decree. They issue an edict. We must bow and scrape and comply. No, we don't. No, we don't.
We need to fight. That's what we need to do. Fight for our rights, fight for our survival, fight for our freedom, because the law is there, but nobody is enforcing them. Nobody is. And the more time passes, the more of this government organization behave like the Gestapo. Well, look what happened. Yeah.
And they intimidate people. That is the problem. Most people, unfortunately, do not have the spine. You know, they don't have a spine to stand up and say, no, you're not going to be doing this to me. No, you're not. You get out of here. You're not doing this to me. If everybody stood up and said, no, you will not be doing this, they would have no choice but to back down.
I know, but people are not doing it because of the government. They are. Most people are just not that they don't understand what we're saying and they don't side for us. They're just afraid of repercussion. But you know what? There is no worse repercussion than not fighting back.
That's right.
That's the worst repercussion that you can have in your life and freedom if you do not fight back against abuses.
Well, who was it? Was it Thomas Jefferson or Thomas? I can't think of who it was.
Give me the quote and maybe I can tell you.
All that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing.
Yes, I don't remember who that was, but I know the quote. Yep. All that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing exactly. And that's absolutely correct.
And
you know, I believe for anybody that's out there, and this is not limited to Christians, but it certainly applies to Christians, is that God does not expect us to be wimpy and to comply with evil. No, we are expected to stand up. And
Romans 13, now don't you ever forget Romans 13.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
All power comes from God.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is, no, we are expected to resist evildoers. We are expected to call on the power of God to vanquish evildoers. We are not expected to cooperate with evildoers. No.
Or even if you're not cooperating, by not opposing it, you still like if you were cooperating.
Well, silence is complicity.
Yeah. If you just turn your head in the other direction and ignore it, it's just like allowing them to get out of control.
Well, in Ephesians 5:11, it says, do not participate in the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but instead expose them. God, through the Holy Spirit, speaking through these people, is telling us that we are to expose the evildoers, not become one of them or comply.
Yeah. So, I hope people will listen to what we're saying. We are here to expose what's happening, and they will listen to what we're saying and then decide to do something. And I think it should start with people that have been in companies, organizations that have been victimized by the FDA and the government to band together to fight back and sue the government. And the way FDA, I've been saying this for quite a while, the way FDA has been behaving, it should be dismantled, and it should be reorganized in a totally different way. Dismantled.
Well, and it should be illegal for people that have their career history in the pharmaceutical industry to be a part of it.
Of FDA. Or people that have their training history in espionage to be part of FDA.
Really?
Okay?
Jeremy.
Well, that's Jeremy Bain.
Yes, Jeremy. Yeah. And he's waving it like it was a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That he had that type of training.
You know,
you fly outside the country.
These kind of people are trained. I should know. These kind of people, these spooks, okay, they're trained to lie. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It doesn't matter what's right or wrong. They'll lie, just like Jeremy Bain lied. He lied to get his foot in the door and he lied, okay? And not tolerate that.
It's done in espionage and with the excuse that will protect the public. But this is that is not justified, and you're not protecting anybody. All you're protecting the company's evil doing.
Protect companies, but you're destroying the lives of countless people. Not only the practitioners like Dr. Carpenter, who's lost just about everything that a person can lose, but you're destroying the lives of the people who are deprived of health care that could result in healing, that could result in having a normal life that does no harm. They are destroying, and they will be held accountable, I have no doubt, by God Almighty. However, we also need to hold them accountable. We need
now, in this life.
That's right.
To put an end to these abuses. We have to do something to make him accountable in this world, in this life, so that we can put an end to their evil doing. Otherwise, they won't. I'm telling you, and I said that last year, after the raid, they're only gonna get worse.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Carpenter. You know, there are people out there that I've talked to, and they say that they're Christians. Oh, well, God will take care of it. Well, maybe so in the future, in God's time. But we, as Christians, are expected. We are not expected to sit idly by and say, oh, God will take... No. We are expected to stand up for what is righteous, okay, and what is godly, and we are expected to denounce evildoers and put them out of business.
Yeah, instead what they're doing is they're allowing these crooks to put out of business respectable individuals.
That's
That's
right.
what they're doing. People that actually do some help. Now, I don't know how much help the Camelot did, but it's certainly a lot better than the poison of the chemo, radiation, and surgery. I mean, come on.
Dr. Carpenter, but again, the issue here is the freedom to practice in a state, especially where it is Healthcare Freedom Act, and the freedom of the patient to choose the treatment that they decide is best for them. That is the issue.
Yeah, the main issue is the freedom, which we are supposed to have granted under the Constitution. Now, obviously the Constitution didn't clearly state freedom of healthcare. It was just discussing more general terms. But what they did to us, and they did just recently to Camelot, that isn't even freedom to be in business, to offer something. And on what basis? Because B17 is a vitamin B, the B complex. It just so happened that B17 is a poison, but that does not make it a drug. And what is used for, not a concern of FDA. Just like they were trying to say to me, oh, this is photodynamic therapy. Is this approval for this type of cancer? This is not a drug, okay? It's not a drug. It's not an issue of which type of cancer. It's an issue of methodology. End of the story, none of your concern. That's it.
And exactly that you were operating, I can't say it enough times, operating in full compliance of the laws in the state of Oklahoma, and you have never before, until this stupid raid that they came down on you, okay, that you were never cited for any illegal actions, no crimes, you committed no crime, nothing.
Well, the Camelot is the same. The might not be effective, but Camelot was not breaking any law in Oklahoma.
Exactly, but that's my point.
Yeah.
They do not have the right under the law. They do not have the right under the law. They are unlawful in their actions, and that's actually what Gerald Sosby, my friend from the FBI, had said that their federal wrongdoing, wrongful, unlawful actions, proceedings against Dr. Carpenter, and he's right. He's an attorney, and he knows it's unlawful.
Well, all you have to do is read the Constitution and read the law of the state.
That's right.
You know,
We got about 3 minutes. No,
okay.
about 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that we stressed enough. I think we stressed enough what we need to do. Okay, what people need to do. We as Americans, we as citizens of need to do to preserve our rights. We cannot accept it as is. We need to take action, and we need to be united against the abuses of our rights. I hope people will contact us so we can draw a plan on what to do next, because the government has to be, FDA has to be held accountable for what they have done. They need to. And we shouldn't be afraid to do that. We should, and the strength is in number.
Well, Dr. Carpenter, that's right. And also, if you consider all the people, all the businesses that have been raided and destroyed, anywhere from raw milk farmers to farmers that grow produce to alternative medical type treatments. There are many, many of these people, and they may all have something different to offer. Very few of them may have to do with cancer, but it's still the same issue. They have the right to exist. They have the right to earn a living. They have a right to practice what they do, and people have a right to partake of that business or to hire that person for medical treatments. It's our God-given right, and we can't let these people from the FDA and FBI and all these other alphabet agencies stop us from exercising our God-given rights. That's what it's about.
10 seconds.
Okay, but keep in mind that we cannot do it alone. We have to be all united. And there are plenty that have been damaged by the government, and there are plenty groups that can get together and create a real fuss. So let's all get together and do something. Okay, we have come to the end of the show. Say, I hope we won't have any hacking this.
Thank you for listening to The Medical Conspiracy with Dr. Carpenter.